Lost media is ever changing, always evolving. What might be the big hot topic in the community today might not be tomorrow. As new discoveries get made and new searches for new pieces of lost media get started, it's inevitable that some stuff is just going to slip through the cracks, doomed to a life of internet obscurity, save for the few individuals who dig deep enough to find them. And so this is the first video in what I hope will be a series of videos taking a look at the most obscure lost media, the stuff nobody has ever heard of, the searches that never took off, and the stuff that maybe even the people who brought the topic to light to begin with have all but forgotten about. All in an attempt to get more eyes on these topics. This is the lost media we left behind. Haunted Mansion Animated Special. On July 17, 2014, The Hollywood Reporter announced that Disney Television Animation was prepping a fully animated TV special based on the beloved Disney Parks ride, The Haunted Mansion, to help celebrate the attraction's then upcoming 45th anniversary. Legendary horror artist and children's book illustrator Chris Grimsley was tapped to animate the special, as well as executive produce and art direct. Phineas and Ferb alumni Scott Peterson and Joshua Pruitt were both on board as writers, while Peterson would also executive produce and serve as a story editor, and Pruitt would also serve as a consulting producer. The special is set to air on both Disney Channel and on Disney XD. However, the 45th anniversary of the Haunted Mansion came and went, with no sign or mention of the special. No promotional art was ever released, no commercials for it, and it's unknown how far along into production the project got. It was announced, and then it just never materialized. Vanished like a ghost. How fitting. Pink Crows. Pink Crows was a Japanese cartoon band that was produced as a side project of the artist duo Nobody. The band released 3 singles in 1985, with no more releases after that. Originally, it was thought that the band only had made one music video, for their song Pinkish from their second single. However, evidence suggests that while the music video for Pinkish came out in June of 1985, there was allegedly a music video for the band's first single, Here Come Pink Crows, that was released in April of 1985. So far, we have 2 social media posts that discuss a music video for Pink Crows, with both users mentioning that they saw it on the Japanese music video show, Music Tomato. The second post in particular is talking about the music video for Pinkish. Neither music video has surfaced over the years, and it's unknown if both of them aired. Maybe we'll see one of these pop up on a VHS tape one day. Nightwing number 30, original version. In 2011, following the Flashpoint event, DC Comics relaunched their entire comic line with the launch of what they dubbed the New 52. 52 new series, all starting at issue number 1. One of these series was Nightwing, which would be the 3rd volume of the series overall. First launching in November 2011, Nightwing ran for 30 issues before ending in July of 2014. The final issue we got ended up being nothing more than a setup for the next title, Grayson, which had Dick Grayson dropping the mantle of Nightwing and becoming a secret agent. The issue was universally panned by fans upon its release, being looked at as just setup for what's next, and just not being a good ending for the series. However, the issue originally centered on the funeral of Dick Grayson, featuring most of the Bat family, including Batman, Alfred, Batgirl/Barbara Gordon, Red Hood/Jason Todd, Red Robin/Tim Drake, Jim Gordon, as well as friends Starfire, Superman, and Roy Harper. The issue would have featured the characters all sharing stories about Dick and grieving together. It then would have been revealed that Batman had helped Dick fake his death so that he could go undercover. The issue was fully written and inked. In the summer of 2014, all 30 fully inked pages were posted and sold on artist Megan Hetrick's Art Agent's website. It was confirmed in 2017 by writer James Tynion that the issue was also fully lettered when he posted a lettered page on his Twitter. As of right now, we only have the one lettered page, and the full dialogue for the issue remains lost. Looney Tunes by a Hare. Developed by Sega, Looney Tunes by a Hare was a 2D side-scrolling racing game made for arcades, which was first shown off at the 1993 Amusement Machine Show in Japan before later being showcased in the May 1993 issue of Electronic Gaming Monthly magazine. However, after appearing at the show and in the pages of the magazine, the game simply vanished and has not been seen since. It's unknown if the game was ever released, as no footage has ever surfaced, aside from some screenshots. The Santa Claus teaser trailer. On May 26, 1994, Walt Disney Pictures released a teaser trailer for their then upcoming film, The Santa Claus. The teaser starts with a wooden figure of Santa falling off a roof, just as Santa does in the film. It then cuts to reveal that this is all in a snow globe being held by Tim Allen's Scott Calvin, who seems confident about being Santa before he drops the snow globe. This trailer was shown throughout the later half of 1994 and played in front of such movies as The Lion King, The Flintstones, The Mask, and Forrest Gump. Although the full original teaser is still lost, it's also kinda found. Sort of. In March of 2017, YouTube user The Media Hoarder uploaded a cam rip of trailers that played before a 1994 showing of The Lion King. In this video, we get to see the later half of the Santa Claus trailer, although it's slightly obscured at points due to it being filmed from the projection booth.
Relax. I have everything under control. Hollywood Pictures presents Tim Allen. We need help in here, clean this thing up. In the movie the North Pole doesn't want you to see. The Santa Claus.
In 2002, a teaser for the Santa Claus 2 was made, which played out exactly the same as the original trailer did, with some changes to the titles and wording towards the end.
Once upon a wintry Christmas Eve, the stillness of the night was broken by the strange and wondrous vision of a fat, jolly figure in red. With a hearty ho-ho-ho, he stepped gracefully from his sleigh, slipped on a patch of ice, and blurted out a few words he doesn't ordinarily use. Oi! Then a new Santa took over. He's made a few changes at the North Pole, and Christmas will never be the same.
Relax. I have everything under control.
Tim Allen returns.
We need an elf in here, clean this thing up.
The Santa Claus 2.
And then in 2018, YouTube user Ethan reconstructed the trailer using the Santa Claus 2 trailer, part of the audio from the cam rip, and some of the titles from another trailer for the film.
Once upon a wintry Christmas Eve, the stillness of the night was broken by the strange and wondrous vision of a fat, jolly figure in red. With a hearty ho-ho-ho, he stepped gracefully from his sleigh, slipped on a patch of ice, and blurted out a few words he doesn't ordinarily use. Oi! Then a new Santa took over. He's made a few changes at the North Pole, and Christmas will never be the same.
Relax. I have everything under control. Hollywood Pictures presents Tim Allen. We need an elf in here, clean this thing up. In the movie the North Pole doesn't want you to see. The Santa Claus.
While the original trailer itself still remains lost, this recreation is the best we have for right now. Mr. Roger. Mr. Roger was a series of 20-second shorts from 1986 that aired in the UK and parts of Europe, as well as in Canada. The shorts followed the titular Mr. Roger, who tried to catch a ride on the subway, but some sort of obstacle would always get in his way. 100 episodes of the show are said to have been produced, however only a few can be currently found online. Toy Story Ultimate Toybox High Fidelity Error. On October 17, 2000, Disney and Pixar released the Toy Story Ultimate Toybox. This was a 3-disc DVD set that contained both Toy Story and Toy Story 2, as well as a bonus disc that featured bonus features. However, on October 24th of the same year, it was reported by ABC News and other outlets that some copies of the set turned up at Costco stores around the US with an error. Reportedly, in the middle of Toy Story 2 being played, the film would switch to a scene from the 2000 John Cusack-led rom-com High Fidelity, in which the F word is used twice. After Costco and Disney received around 8 separate complaints from customers, Costco pulled the set from its shelves, totaling around 1,000 copies. They would later receive error-free copies of the set from Disney. Disney-owned Buena Vista Entertainment said that the glitch happened due to a pressing error as the high-fidelity DVDs were being pressed at the same time, and affirmed customers that the glitch affected less than 1% of the disc. This glitch was specific to the Ultimate Toybox version of the disc, and didn't affect the cheaper 2-disc sets that also featured Toy Story and Toy Story 2. And while this news was reported and people definitely owned this disc at some point, a clip of the glitch in question has never surfaced online. I once thought that narrowing the eBay listings for the set down to one specific area could help this version be located, but if the glitch did in fact happen around the country as the ABC report says, and if the glitch truly did affect only 1% of the copies produced, then finding a copy with the glitch is a real needle in the haystack situation. America's Next Muppet. America's Next Muppet was a planned parody series inspired by reality TV shows but featuring the Muppets. The pilot was filmed sometime during the summer of 2005, and Disney loved it so much that they greenlit a 5-episode miniseries to air on ABC. The plot of the show allegedly had Kermit and his Muppet friends running a talent show for a new Muppet to join the crew. New Muppets must perform in front of the judges, Kermit, Miss Piggy, and Gonzo. The judges would review the acts to see if the participants would be a good fit. Other Muppets were apparently going to set up the challenges behind the scenes and keep the show going. The show also would have been interactive, as viewers would have been able to vote for who they thought should win. Unfortunately, the show never aired and is assumed to have been cancelled. Disney has never talked about the show publicly, and as of this recording, no material from the show has surfaced. Yo, it's the Chester Cheetah Show! In the mid-80s, Frito-Lay had plans to make an animated series based off of Cheetos mascot, Chester Cheetah. Titled, Yo, it's the Chester Cheetah Show, this show would have focused on Chester and his cool friends, a hip-hop hippo, a funky monkey, and a rockabilly dog. Chester Cheetah first debuted in 1986, and Frito-Lay had allegedly been planning the show since his debut, with networks like Fox and CBS getting involved along the way. Production for the show began with Fox and went on for many months before being scrapped. There had been a negative reaction from TV activists at the time who were alarmed that the show would more or less just be a half-hour commercial. Fox's legal team became aware of this, and this caused the show to get shut down. In terms of the Fox version, only some designs, scripts, and storyboards remain, some of which were listed on eBay in 2017. These listings total 21 storyboard pages. After the show was cancelled at Fox, the project moved to CBS, where it was cancelled for the same reasons. No information has ever come out about the CBS version, aside from the fact that Marvel Productions was working on it. And while the show itself never made it on the air, there was a video game deal that had been made to produce video games based on the cartoon. As a result, the Sega Genesis and Super Nintendo games Chester Cheetah Too Cool to Fool and Chester Cheetah Wild Wild Quest are in fact based on this cancelled show. There are characters and locations in the games that also appear in the storyboards, so it definitely seems like some material came out of the show after all. Far Side movie test footage. For those unaware, The Far Side is a single-panel comic strip by cartoonist Gary Larson that was published in newspapers from 1979 to 1995. From lampooning everyday events to confusing people with its surrealist humor, the comic has been a hit with the young and old for decades now. So it only makes sense that, at one point, a movie was at the very least being talked about. On February 4th, 2021, Brooklyn Nine-Nine actor Dirk Blocker posted on Instagram a photo of himself and other actors, such as John Larroquette, dressed as various Far Side characters. In the post, Dirk wrote, "TPT came across this from a Far Side screen test many moons ago. Didn't go anywhere, but we laughed a lot and got to meet the amazing Gary Larson. Can you name the others pictured here?" And then on April 28th of the same year, Dirk posted the same photo to Twitter, followed by an additional photo of his character. This time he wrote, "Many years ago we were part of a test for a Far Side film. Sadly nothing came of it, but we had a grand time." Who was the director of this screen test, however? Enter Alan Rudolph. The writer and director, known for films such as Roadie, Choose Me, The Moderns, and many others, was a massive Far Side fan and yearned to see it on the big screen. And as it turns out, he lived less than an hour away from Gary Larson at the time. So Rudolph reached out to Larson, and the two met for drinks at a bar. Larson approved of Rudolph's film pitch, and by 1983, Rudolph had begun work on a script. In it, Professor Henderson is on a journey to an unknown corner of the world to discover the missing link between everything. This unknown corner would of course be the far side. And this unknown corner would end up being only a few blocks from the character's home. Professor Henderson's quest continued from there, accompanied by a kid on a bike. A few years later, in 1986, David Putnam was named CEO of Columbia Pictures. Rudolph and Putnam had previously met, and a mutual friend would later arrange a delivery of Rudolph's Far Side script to Putnam. Allegedly, Putnam really enjoyed reading the script, despite never having heard of the comic. However, he knew that Rudolph's films called for minor budgets and often had smart writing. That was all he needed. Putnam would soon announce a Far Side film as part of the first slate of releases of his tenure at Columbia. Reflecting back on this, Rudolph said, he read the script but couldn't make out what it would be like, yet had a positive gut reaction. It was all too good and weird to be true. Unfortunately, the film's time at Columbia would soon come to an end, as Putnam would be outed as CEO of Columbia by September of 1987 after 18 months of trying to radically change the system. In 1988, Paramount Pictures caught wind of the Far Side project and asked Rudolph what a potential Far Side movie would even look like, so they put in requests for test stills for various characters and sets. Speaking of the test, Rudolph was quoted as follows: "To create Far Side characters and Far Side world for stills only would be like building a single tank or tract house. Like creating an entire opera production and costume for a poster." At first, he considered doing the whole thing in black and white, like the Far Side's early black and white days. Instead, Rudolph used the then new color calendar editions of the strip as his guide. But when the time finally came to assemble a standing cast and shoot the test photos, Rudolph instead decided to go ahead and film some footage to better show what the film could look like. He quickly wrote up some dialogue for the actors and shot what he could for about the same cost as the stills. Rudolph spoke of the footage, stating that if he got the green light, he hoped to make a sketch-based narrative with a loose story. Basically, an examination of everyday life in which humans, non-humans, and objects equally occupy space with competing bizarreness. Finally, the time came to present to Paramount. Rudolph offered to show them the test footage rather than the photos. The director told the executives that the scenes wouldn't be in the final product, but were instead an indication of what might be possible visually in a relatively primitive way. The executives said they understood, watched the footage, and promised to return with an answer soon. 3 weeks later, they delivered their verdict: no. They loved the way it looked, but weren't sure of the scenes, none of which were in the script, but adapted to the raw materials we had for the test, Rudolph said. In other words, if we had only presented stills, it likely would have been made. As of this recording, nothing from the screen test other than the 2 photos have surfaced, and to my knowledge, the script is lost as well. Hey everyone, Seeker here. As always, I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. As far as other news goes, I'm still working on that big video that I planned to have out at the end of last year. However, complications have arose with the production of it, so I just need a little more time. I'm hoping to have that out by the end of March, hopefully mid-April, if not late March. Also, if you guys want to support me or the channel, I have created a Ko-Fi account. So for the price of just a coffee, you guys can support my content and also help keep the channel going. I appreciate all the support so far. We're almost at 4,000 subscribers, and it's pretty crazy to say the least. Thanks again, guys, and I'll see you all in the next video.